Am I the asshole? For refusing to take down a picture that has my son's dead name? Removed. Usually when I see the title of posts like this I immediately feel that the OP would be TA, but after reading through I need to say not the asshole. It very well could be that the pain of the initial rejection of transition is what's motivating the anger of OP's child, that and the trauma of losing their father. Keeping that one photo up that was a precious memory is allowed, especially if OP is finally taking accountability and is finally taking the responsibility to make adjustments to suit their son, removing majority of photos, etc. I'll never pretend to understand what a trans person experiences, especially in the vulnerable stages of the initial transitioning and the need for support, acceptance, validation. And in the same breath I can't put myself in the shoes of a parent who is experiencing their child changing before their eyes. I feel like both sides of the coin come with a lot of grief, mourning, confusion, and a whole range of emotions that are best explored in a safe space such as a therapist who has experience with trans people. Bottom line, I feel OP is allowed to keep that one photo, but until both them and their son work through their grief and come to an understanding, a compromise may be wise where said photo is kept in OP's bedroom and not in shared living areas of the house. Probably controversial, but not the asshole. This is a picture of your family at one of its happiest moments. Your husband is deceased, and that picture reminds you of happier times. You have rid the house of all other pictures of your son, except this one. Time for Ben to compromise. Nah. He's allowed to not like it and you're allowed to like it. Consider that it may be a reminder that his father was not supportive of his gender, and that he did not feel safe transitioning while his father was alive. His father never got to see him truly being himself. That's pretty painful. To not have any photos of himself and his dad that aren't painful. That all your happiest memories will of course be of when your husband was still alive, and are of times when he was suffering. Can you take the photo to a photo restoration expert and see about getting a version made where the tattoo is removed? It's not difficult to do and does no damage to the original, which you can still keep while hanging a restored version. Or, cut a piece of post-it note over the tattoo so you can keep the photo but Ben doesn't have to look at his dead name when he looks at it. Can you do something to help strengthen Ben's connect to and memory of his father in different ways? I imagine there's a lot of complicated feelings there. Older trans guy here. Not the asshole. I understand what your son feels like when he sees his dead name. It irks me too when I see mine, which I find annoying because I swore I wouldn't care, but as you said, it's not even in a place where he's going to see it, unless he goes out of his way to. It is important for him that his identity is accepted, and it seems to be the case even if you needed a longer moment to come around. It happens. If you haven't already tried, maybe explain to him that it's not about his dead name, it's about his father and the memories you have together. If he can't see it, maybe with time and with his transition progressing he'll be a little more open to conversation. I really feel like your son should let this one go. I'm really sorry about your husband. Nah, Ben is still young enough that the memories of how it felt to be pre-transition are probably still really fresh, and it can feel hard to get away from that feeling of being trapped and helpless when there are still even trivial reminders lying around. Plus, if you've talked about this photo a lot together, it probably is starting to feel really outsized and hyper important to him. It's easy to not think about a picture that you hate, if nobody in the family has mentioned it in ages and it's just the background noise of the house. But when it's become a pitched battlefield, it's harder to just work around. If you put it in a drawer for a year, until he's more secure in your support of him, and feels like he's more distant from his pre-transition life, it'll do a whole world of good. But you're also not being TA if this is the only photo that you have of your husband. There's no photos of him with the tattoo covered, or with you but without Ben. It's also totally understandable that you'd want to display it. I'm going to say nah, but in a more gentle way. I'm trans FTM and I know how painful it can be to see things like that. Especially if Ben is trying to be stealth in his day-to-day life. If he doesn't want anyone new that he meets that he isn't intimate with dating to know he's trans, something like that photo can ruin everything. That said, I'm still going with nah. If the photo is as off to the side as you say it is, it's fine that you have it up. It's a photo you want to keep up to remember your husband and your family together. My only suggestion, if you truly want to keep the peace, is to maybe have the photo digitally altered so the tattoo is removed. I'm not saying it's something you have to or should do. It's just a suggestion, if it's possible. I'm going with not the asshole. Not sure if Ben still lives with you or not, but regardless, it's your place, your memories. My parents have pics of me and my brothers that we really don't like, but I'm not going to tell my mom what she can and cannot put up in her own house. If you want to compromise more, maybe when Ben comes to visit to take it down? Honestly think this is a nah, but you should keep in mind that your history of not supporting Ben has an effect here. You have a lot less grace to work with than a parent who was supportive from the start, unfortunately. I would recommend a compromise, like moving the picture to your bedroom, covering up just the tattoo with a little piece of paper, or getting the photo edited to remove the tattoo if possible. While I don't think it's fair to ask you to take the picture down entirely, showing Ben your full support here is key to prove that you really mean it. Sometimes in life, and especially in parenting, we have to do things that feel irrational or unfair in order to protect the people we love. Hot take. It's great you guys are getting along now, but I have no doubt your son will always have lingering doubts about your support, and whether this reconciliation is truly because you missed him, or you just didn't want to be alone. I think there's more than the photo at play here. That being said, I was in your son's shoes around that age, in a very similar situation, and I absolutely hated anything of my previous life. It wasn't just I don't think this, it created real distress that I had trouble managing. I'm 10 years out as a brand new man and am only getting comfortable revisiting the person I used to be. I would also suggest some family counseling, both together and separate. You are grieving two losses, one of your husband and one of your daughter, and your son, if he isn't already, could use some professional guidance on how to appropriately navigate his feelings. X200B. TLDR nah, but y'all definitely need to grieve 3. Not the asshole. Whether Ben likes it or not, he can't erase his past, and it's cruel that he demands that you erase all your memories as a family because he doesn't like how he was born. I might be a bit cold, but that's his problem, not yours. Nah, I get it, you miss your husband, understandably so. But Ben would probably be more okay with it had you have been supportive of him without your husband passing. He probably still feels you don't actually support him because of the photo. Have someone edit the tattoo. Problem solved. Info. How was Tom not supportive if Ben didn't transition until after his death? Why were you distant if Ben was still female presenting at that time? Not the asshole, it's a picture of your late husband. You love the picture. It's your home. It's your past too.